Hey everyone, if you want to make your own podcast but you don't know where to begin, Spotify for Podcasters makes it super easy. They've got everything in one place, it's totally free, and you can make money while doing it. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start doing it today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and pretty much everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also supported, and you can even conduct polls and Q&As. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, the platform is totally free. No catch, totally free. When I wanted to start my own podcast, I did not know where to begin, and I didn't think it was even possible. And Spotify for Podcasters made it happen. They made it easy, they made it quick, and I am doing something that I love. What more can I ask for? So if you're interested in starting your own show, you can do it, and I highly recommend you give this a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Everything Kratom, the podcast about anything and everything Kratom. Great to have you with us on this Monday morning. Hope all is well and that you had a great holiday weekend. I certainly did. Lots and lots of fun. Today, now that we are back, my little listeners, I wanted to bring up a little personal tidbit. Not even sure tidbit's the right word, but I like it, so I'm using it. Just a little personal, tidbit from my own experiences, or rather my family's experiences with Kratom. Earlier on, one of the first few episodes I did was about my brother's experience with Kratom, the first and only time I was able to give it to him. And that's a personal story, and I hope that you all valued hearing that one if you heard it. If not, feel free to check it out. It's towards the beginning, one of the first episodes I did. Personal family story. This that I wanted to bring up today has to do with my now wife and the first time that she tried Kratom. And that was a few years ago. We were in college together, and I just thought I would share her experience because it was very different than mine. So here we go. So I had been using Kratom for a year or two since, or before I met her. And then I met her, we were in college together. That's when we first got together. And she was trying to get some work done towards the end of the school year. And I had recommended that she try Kratom because she was like saying, I wish I had something to help me focus, and I don't like coffee. It makes me feel terrible. But at the time, she was a little bit depressed for a number of reasons, which I'm not going to go into here. But she was depressed, and she was having a tough time. And this is in retrospect that we kind of have talked recently about how she probably had very low dopamine levels, maybe serotonin levels. We're not quite clear on how all that works, but she definitely, it took her a while to build back, her mood. And it certainly felt like the chemicals that are supposed to make you feel happy were definitely depleted. So when she first tried Kratom, she tried a white-green blend of Thai, and it worked well for her the day that she used it. It helped her get her work done, but what we found was that the next day she would be very upset or very sad, more so than what she was going through at the time. And we're wondering now, and we just talked about this recently, just in retrospect, we wonder if because she was already depressed and had depleted dopamine levels maybe or something like that, if that's why she ended up having that rough day after using Kratom. And this happened a couple of times. She tried again a few days later, and again, the same result. It worked well the day of, but the next day she had a very tough time, and it was more difficult than usual. And so we kind of have just talked about that a couple times, and it's an interesting thought, something to think about and toss around out there, is that what mood you are in generally and what your life, feels like at the time. It might be that Kratom helps you with your mood, and that's certainly the case with me, But for someone else, it might be that it helps you with something one day, but then, not having it the next day, it's almost like it took it all out of you, like the little bit in there that was working well for you, and your mood being bolstered, like it's a farther way down to fall. Does that make sense? So that's just an interesting thought that I thought I'd share today that we've talked about. And the reason why I talk about it now and bring it up now is because just the other day, my wife is saying to me that she would be open to trying Kratom again because we're she's in a very different place now. She's very happy. We have our daughter, we're married, we have our dogs, we have our house that we're in the process of buying. And, our life is really settled in. We're very, very happy where we are. And so being that our life circumstances are very different and she's in a great place, she's interested in trying Kratom again. So what we're going to do is when she does try it, we're going to pay very close attention to see how she feels the next day. Not even as much as what happens that day, although of course we'll be monitoring that, but we're going to be very interested to see how this sort of experience can, affect her the next day. And if she feels fine the next day, that's going to be really interesting, And I'm certainly going to share, the results of that with you all, but it'll be interesting to see, if she doesn't have a lot of, a much tougher time the next day, then maybe we're on to something here. And that she was, some people, when they're very, down in the dumps, they shouldn't take Kratom maybe because maybe it's going to have a tough effect on them the next day. And is that, really worth, weighing the costs and benefits? Is that really worth the day of if you're borrowing from the next day? And, but for other people like me, that's not the case. I can take Kratom for a few days in a row or just one, and then the next day I don't take it and I feel great. I feel fine. So, everybody's body is different, and this is just yet another lesson for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about today, this is a very random episode day, everybody, but I'm just getting back from my in-laws, so we're kind of just settling in today, and I didn't have any episode prepared, but that's something that we had been talking about on the way home, and I thought that I'd share that with you all. The other thing is Kratom baked in cinnamon buns. Try it. Need I say more? Okay, I will. Oh, need I say more? Ba-dum-cha. Need. Get it? Okay. Well, anyway, need. So, I'm loopy today. So, basically, Kratom cinnamon buns are great. I did not taste the Kratom. And I'm the sort of person that doesn't really take the time to bake, like, Kratom or cook with it or anything. Like, I never have done that much, although I've tried other people's things and I think they're great, but it's like I usually don't get the full effects out of it, and I don't really like putting all the time and energy into it when I could just take it. But just for the fun of it, I tried Kratom cinnamon buns, and they tasted great. I didn't even taste the Kratom, not that I really mind the taste, and they actually worked pretty well. I felt the effects. I used I used my favorite. I used green Mangda and green Malay mixed. I've never even mixed those two in real life. I've never mixed those two just like straight. So this was the first time I've taken them together, and it was in a cinnamon bun, and it was totally worth it. It tasted, great, and it really had some great effects, and it gave me a lot of energy, and it was sweet. So that's something that you all should maybe explore. It was really interesting. I might have mentioned it on this show before, but the only time that I've really had Kratom in food and enjoyed it thoroughly and it worked well was when I made milkshakes. Make milkshakes. They're amazing. It doesn't matter what type of ice cream, in my opinion, but chocolate or vanilla is great. You mix it in there with some of the ice cream and make a milkshake out of it with a Kratom milkshake. I did it when I got my wisdom teeth out, and they had given me pain medication, and I had taken the pain medication, but I didn't really like taking that. And my mom was also skeptical about me taking pain medication when I was, a little bit younger. And so, instead of doing that, I started making Kratom milkshakes and just drinking those for like 3 days straight. Oh, it was amazing. It tasted so good. But of course, it's wintertime, and it's, maybe not the best season to eat ice cream, although I can eat ice cream any day. So if you're interested, cinnamon buns or Kratom milkshake, both totally worth checking out. I hope everybody had a great holiday. We'll try and not have as loopy of an episode tomorrow. But sometimes when you're traveling and you get back home, it's difficult to pull yourself together for something. I just want to crash. So that's what I'm going to go do. And then we'll hop back into it tomorrow, back into our usual routine. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Hope you all had a great holiday. If anybody got Kratom gifts, remember to let me know. Send me a voice message. I'd love to hear about it. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, my little listeners. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.